people. Welcome. It's Tuesday evening, March 5th, Wednesday the 6th for other people on the other side of the world, GMGE. This is your daily fix with NFA OFC. Pope is in the back and he'll be kicking it up here in a minute. Our rundown for what we're doing today, money flow cycle, gives us a heads up on how the money is moving within the market so we can make better decisions. Hey, market cap dominance, Bitcoin, ETH, as we always check. Follow-ups from last week because we've been watching them for a while. Just a quick check-in. And thought we were going to continue to climb or hang out in consolidation, but a little surprise for everyone today. A lot of stuff has happened since we saw each other last. We are going to go over a couple of things that I found and then something that Primo found, AGIX, Rune, Ren, PYR, Vulcan Forge. So we're going to check those out a little bit later. And let's get Pope up here to teach us about finance and money.
Ooh, it's not financial advice, of course. It's all for fucking entertainment's sake.
Of course, we're just having a good time, baby.
I mean, what a great day. Oh my God.
It's wild, right?
I love that shit. 15 minutes into yesterday's show, we demonstrate what a cup and handle looks like on Bitcoin, where the pullback might be. Look. Interesting. I have not actually, because I was in some crazy meetings today, which I'll announce at some of the news at the end of the show because it affects you guys, the viewers, and our members. We got some more cool shit for you coming. It's a prime example of how we've been talking that greed. It's there. We knew it was there. I kept saying, it's coming. I don't know when, but it's coming. And I've been watching cautiously. What a day. Oh, I love days when you sit, you get that moment to trade, and you get the panic wicks. And it was beautiful. I got some amazing entries. This is why we have cash on the sidelines. These are the days for those kind of things. If you're still unsure and it's still down, but you're holding bags of something, these are how you dollar cost entry your bags, as we were talking earlier, Crypto Katie and I. And let's dig into it. There's a lot of exciting stuff that happened. And this is kind of what we needed in a bit, a little bit of a cool down of all this greed in the market. And we're talking a massive amount of money. 387.30 billion in one day. Now, we've definitely pulled back some. And we're hovering right in this 2.2s, which is top third of our consolidation area for how much money we've been having in the market. We like to see these ups, curl overs. This is a little more than healthy retracement when we get stuff like that. Now, I've heard a few different things. I haven't had the chance to look yet. I heard it was early Bitcoin from the early mining days that dropped a whole bunch. If that's true, hella OG move to mint and hold that long. And actually a little more than that, 394. And then sell it the top. Like that's boss. What a boss move. If that's true, I don't know. To me, a whole lot of people taking profits or a whole lot of money taking profits and leaving to the tune of 394.245 billion. That's massive. Massive. Which means my favorite days come of red sales when you're on the sidelines and you have been doing what we talk about, which is taking profit. This looks healthy. This looks like it's holding this area. Everybody can calm down. We've had to relax. Probably do a little wiggle. And then let's go again. Dominance, I mean, hard to really, a lot of up, a lot of down, and now we're starting to go back. This is a strange one for me.
Like I said yesterday, this is always a wild card to me.
Yeah, now we know the dominance also drops when a lot of money leaves. there's not as much money in the market, so there can't be as much in Bitcoin, right? So we always want to see the alt run, the market cap has to stay the same or increase, is what we always say there. The market cap, all the money, what we always analyze first, that has to stay the same or increase for an alt run when this candle goes red. We know that number did not stay the same to the tune of how many billions? Hundreds. So this was not an alt run. So if you saw this, and I'm 99.9% sure none of our members did, saw this as an indication as an alt run, you would have just got smoked. Right? So there's different ways to understand what this information is giving us, but the data doesn't lie. So, and I always say people do, right? All the echo chambers will be telling you what they want you to hear. Like I said, that's a great story. If the Bitcoin sell-off was that, I don't know if it is or not. There's probably ways to check. We drew out that big cup and handle pullback, which isn't this ugly mess that we decided to leave. It's where we said we want to see the ups, the consolidations, the breakouts, the consolidations, the ups, and we should be on these previous levels of support in the past. And this was just quick. So let's see how this continues to play out, because right now, this is showing strength. If it can go up this much and come all the way back down and hold after all this, right around to where we said in that 15-minute mark or so, I just quickly checked before when we drew it out, and it would come back down to this next level of support and resistance. And let's just do one for shits and giggles, prove the point. We'll just drop one a little bit below, a little bit in the middle of all of this right here. Here's a daily support and resistance. Let's scroll. First price action we see. We have a lot of resistance in 21 in this area. We could probably draw. Oh, this is going to be good. Majority of price, we would argue, support, resistance, in there, or we can pull it up one. Makes no big deal to me. I would typically probably go there.
That's where I would have put it, I think.
Perfect. So now let's go this way. Do, 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 do. So far, wick has come just down to that line that we dropped over here, and it's the support on the other side. And here we are in this area. We're going to cool off because that's what Bitcoin does. And a lot of the money moving into Bitcoin now is old money. I reckon this shook a lot of people, and this will be mellow. That being said, when I saw this, I got excited because I told you I've been waiting on the sidelines with dry powder, looking for entries. And when something like this happens, I'm always looking at old faithfuls, Ethereum and Bitcoin. Now, we know Bitcoin typically lose a little less percentages than Ethereum's and whatnot. And then obviously alts more in either direction. So when everything was great and we were talking about how it's been following, and we were saying back here, this was going to be a hardest resistance. That's why if we take off our indicators, we drew the line there. We were like, this is our weekly support. Outside of our consolidation on the weekly, because we know this because of our colors that we've used. These are our boxes. And this was our line. And we can see that's right back to where we are.
Sorry, are you saying that there probably will be some consolidation just above this line, or that line that you drew for now?
I'm just saying it. I find it interesting right now that we were saying this was going to be our strongest point to get to,
Mhm.
and our resistance that we would probably have a strong wick on this one, and we broke through it. That was weird. That one weirded me out. Or maybe it was this one. I can't remember, but one of them. And it just did the same what we were talking, and it's been going back. And I said this was always going to be the line, this 35.17. And we've talked about this for back in here. We drew this squiggles ages ago. And the price today is hovering $3-4 off it. So yeah, you can probably guess where my entry today was. I missed down here. Unfortunately, that was fast. But I did jump in at a juicy 3-3 level with everything I had on the sidelines.
Aren't you so glad you were watching?
Oh, that's the beauty of this game. Sometimes it's not luck, it's opportunity and preparation meeting each other. I had the money on the sidelines. I know I'm waiting for events like this that happen all the time in crypto. For those that always think it's just mooning or now the chicken littles, the sky is falling, it's over. And we've been talking about it this week in the beginning of last, when we've been quoting various people on Twitter saying like 40 to 60% off in a few days off of alts is nothing. Hundreds of percent in returns is nothing. But you have to understand how that game works, and especially how that works around these four. You understand how these four things operate together, your trading of the alts will be so much better. And we already know improving little percentages on your game, on your trades, stacks into massive returns over the year. So that's just price action and support resistance, very light TA. And our indicators are just showing us some cooling off. We don't have that tight curl. We're hoping for consolidation. To me, on the daily, it kind of makes sense that we're going to consolidate in here. I don't think we're going to consolidate for that long, mind you, but somewhere along in here, and then we're off. We may have some wicks, but right now, this is our focus where it's holding. So this is what we've talked about a lot, that when money wants to move in this market and leave it, it will do it fast and a lot of it. And if you're not taking profits, if this is your first big up and you didn't take any profits on it and you just got wiped a bunch of your unrealized gains, let this be your lesson now. That would be my 2 cents on someone that's been in that position more times than I would like to admit. Speaking of positions we've been in, let's look at some of our trades that we have been looking and what happens to them on days like this. And what can you look at and what can you expect? I mean, we've talked about this so much. We got 3 possible worst case entries. Our first one hit. And even still, if you've never cashed out, you're still doing extremely well into the profits. I mean, we have the cup and handle. This is all still very bullish. It is starting to curl. We are still on a
Would you
downward.
mind pulling it open to that area just because I can't really
I
see
do
them.
that. Thank you. So this is on the daily, right? We've hit our critical. It could very easily on the daily start to do this. And then we get into a little bit of a micro bear and then a new bull. There'd be nothing wrong with that. Healthy. I have no indication right now, other than right now it's holding this area of support. It needs to, or it's going to continue to come down. And then we're looking for entries in these places before we start to take off again. Ooh, looks like a 3-year-old's drawing of a car.
Looks like the Oscar Mayer Wiener wagon.
Right, I was kind of thinking. So I'm not itching to get into Cosmos right now. If you got in and you took profits up here, this is great. We're going to have a natural pullback, which support resistance. You know, we know there's lots more areas to go up. For where this is in the cycle of the bear bull and how much exhaustion, how much profit, how much money has already been taken from the market, I think we can find better trades. So if I'm not in it, I'm not going in it. If I did get in it, which gave you a great entry, you made some hella money. If you're still in it and you don't want to hold this long term, wait for a little bit of a pullback. And I think we can find some other trades, which you'll be seeing here shortly, that you'll make more money.
I think some of the ones that I called yesterday, I was suggesting to watch on the 4 and watch for the pullback on the ones that I suggested yesterday. And hell yeah, we got a little bit of a pullback and some great possible
Great
entries on
entries.
those ones too. Yeah.
Nice.
Where are we going now? Phantom?
Quick look at Phantom. There was our entry. We were looking for this cup and handle formation. This was the plan for this trade that we were doing on the show for quite some time. If you've played that out and you took your profits, hella, we had a few. We actually gave a few entries into this along the way. It's played out beautifully. Oops. What I would like to personally see, because this is older, is I think we are going to have that little bit of a pullback. I could be wrong. We've had a lot of down. That's still a lot of price action. We're starting to see the curl. These aren't my entries that I'm looking for. I'm looking for being down in these where I gave this one. Not saying I don't love Phantom. I do. I'm just saying I'm in this game to make money. Since I've been on the sidelines, and this has already had so much price action, I think we could find better. That being said, so I don't get the TA hate, we do have a nice up and a down, breaking in the formation, get a retest, and we're off back into this area right here. So you could be looking at a quick short trade of 20.68%. That is playing out right now as well. Just to throw that out there. But I want to look.
What always makes me a little worried about those big, we call them God candles, the big green candles, is that I just assume that there's going to be, and there was just as fast of a come down after, of a retracement after. But is it possible then, even though it looks like it may bounce around in that triangle and bop up, is it possible that it'll go right back down the same amount as that candle, the green one?
Oh, I mean, it did on a wick for some people today that had stop losses.
I forgot about the wick. That's right.
So yes, to answer your question, the fact that that wick is pulled back all that much, that's what's showing strength.
Ah, okay.
Right? Price came down. People were like, fuck that. That's a good deal. It was bought up. So right now it's holding this area right here. It needs to continue to do that for this bullish wedge to play out, which then your next target would be in about here. Which still, if it does 20%, that's great. But we can see a little bit of level out, and we were in it back here to make it to here was our goal. But our indicators even told us when we were here, don't get out. So we didn't. When we're targeting, we're looking for these kind of zones or these kind of plays. Right? But just because this is our play and when we're getting close to it, we don't stop if there's more room to run. And we don't sweat on little retracements if there's more room to run because pullbacks are healthy. This here is a signal of strength, and then pulling it through. This is interesting still. I think we may have found some more, and I'm curious to go look. Phantom long-term hold, absolutely love it. Great coin. Enough air on that. Unless there's questions, of course, always. Kusama. Oh, I should have mapped out our total. Another one for long term from the show. We got in here. Current price today, if you've never sold, you're still at 29.5% over 30 days. If you absolutely time the top like a boss, which nobody does, you would have been at 50%. But you can see, like, look at that pullback. And look what it came to. So you can think about where and how these stop losses are getting out. And if you had a stop loss in place and you got out, and then now you're seeing this, and you're like, oh, man, like that's being wicked out. And being wicked out sucks. Now, it is an art, and if you're playing long term, you don't really care. You probably don't even have a stop loss in place. It's sitting in a cold wallet. It should be just sitting in a cold wallet. So these kind of things don't even matter. Like, we gave you a few actual good entries that hit on this token. Now, to me, it does look like we may be entering that micro bear here with Kusama. Again, long hold, sure. This kind of stuff, won't bother you, and nor should it. Short term, you're going to have time of your capital being put to waste because you're riding out ebbs and flows. Now, that doesn't mean we get an injection of cash tomorrow and these turn and we're back up this way. But we've taken some good profits out of here. And this could be the other argument, is the other handle to this full cup and handle, and then we're off again. Because this is an old coin as well. So it's one I would keep my eye on right now until I kind of know what's going on in this area. And if I'm not in it, I'm not going to get in it. I really want to know, can it hold this? Because if it does hold this, then yes, we are going back. This one, that's a massive wick. I mean, this one is a wiki coin. So that's one sometimes actually putting your take profits at these stupid levels when they hit and then they just pull back. You're excited because you got bought out. Like, winner. So let's see what we found, or what we've found, rather, not what Kate found and brought to my attention earlier. Ruin This is old. I can't remember what it was. I want to say it's like a gaming token from ages ago, but I could be wrong, or finance. But this is old. This has been around a long time. And let's get our indicators off. This is really interesting. Look how far back we can go. To where support, resistance, support, support, resistance, all support, resistance, big pullback. Ish support, and ish resistance. Well, absolutely resistance, ish support up to there. And then currently, right now, after everything that just went down, so we'll go back from here because we know it's such an old token that it had quite an all-time high. Because I'm pretty sure just from current price action to here is a ridiculous amount, 164. So let's not get too big of eyes with this, but beautiful compression breakout, holding this structure that has been for a long time. We see quick movements when it breaks out of structure. I like quick movements. Let's see the quick movement happen here. So if we can hold this line, obviously, this is showing some nice strength. If not, it would stand to reason we're going to be going down into this area, right around where that wick ended up. Our next major step, probably somewhere. Oh, yep. Let's do that. Argue there, 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 and there.
Desi said on logarithmic scale, runes found resistance on a huge diagonal from back of May 21.
Where's my logarithmic on here? Why can't I see it?
And I think it was on like the token of Thor chain, I think it was.
That's
And
it. That's right.
And 22 Targaryen just reminded me that it is a DeFi, that Supreme had it on his DeFi list.
Yeah, no, it is. I knew it was banking or ruin because I was thinking gaming, but yeah, it is DeFi. That makes sense. Can you say what? Can you repeat both those comments again for me, please?
I sure can. On logarithmic scale, runes found resistance on a huge diagonal from back May of 21.
What happened? May of 21. Oh, May of 21, like 2021.
Like we need to go to the. You want to go to the weekly and check it out? 21, or
Probably
can
a way better idea. Oh,
no.
I mean, we're on. Is that a new candle there now? I can't.
It's a new red one, it seems.
Yeah, no. So we're. I'm gonna go to here. No, I'll go back 1 week. I'm gonna make that 2 points. Interesting. We haven't even put indicators on yet. I love talking with you guys. Smart. Whoop. Am I unlocked? It must be. Huh.
I don't know what it's at now exactly, but the 11.1 retracement or 11.1% retracement today was caught my eye.
Jesus, that's ugly. That is a steep, ugly. I mean, as I went that far back, but even still, it is fighting this daily consolidation. Huh. There's some juicy percentages in here. I do think on this, on the daily, we're gonna see some entries. When the price is right on the line of support and resistance right now, this is what I'm thinking. Sorry, just as I'm looking at this, because if this comes down as a micro bull to here, could also start to come down and go to here, right? Could also come down to here before we start to see the bellies and then go. And for me, when I'm looking for an entry to long, I'm always looking for these bellies. This is where I like to look. Now, this one happens to be on the uptrend as well. We're no longer on this uptrend on the weekly. Oh, yeah. Oh, this is on the weekly. We're on the daily now. My bad. On the daily, that there's our triangle. So we still have it's fighting another 20 hours to make it above this area, which I don't think it will, which isn't a bad thing. But I'm looking at the long term going, yeah, we're in a bullish sentiment. People are panicking. We've had some nice retracement just from where we were looking right now. Did I leave that on? No. From here to here is 81%. So even if we're halfway of that, that's still 40%, which is still, we know there's a lot of price action from before on this. This is now looking where I would want to have 3 entries, limit entries if I wasn't able to watch. If I got a whole lot of IRL or a job or something to be doing, and I find a layup like this that's looking good and it's looking like it's making these nice ups and downs motions still in a bullish trend. This is where you can drop your limit entries in, and hopefully 1 or 2 hits, and you've dollar cost your entry and you're off. So you don't have to worry about getting a perfect entry. And we know you're never going to time the bottom, you're never going to time the top, but how close can we get it? That only really matters the shorter of a time frame you're trading in. So faster you're trading, you got to get pretty damn close.
So just as I'm going and as I'm just watching that, I'm looking at the market cap and all that stuff throughout the day. Do you watch it when you're looking? Are you watching it on the daily, or does it depend on how you're trading? Like when you're watching it and you're trading on the 20 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever it is, are you looking at the market cap on that 30 minutes?
Yeah, if not lower. And I'll probably have a few up. I'll have the 4 hour up, and then probably typically like the 4, the 1, the 30s, the 15s, the 5s. Depending if I'm trading on the 15s or the 5 minutes, yeah, I'm watching how fast that money's coming in on those time frames too. Yeah. Usually what time frame I'm trading on is where I'll watch the DOM. Not the DOM, well, the DOM, but the total market cap. So
Supreme says
on
he's watching on the 1 hour right now.
on Ruin or on the market cap?
I'm assuming market cap because we were just
Yeah.
talking about it.
Makes sense. So we can see right now it's holding this. That is showing strength. So when we were talking earlier about Wix pulling all the way back up, because I mean, all the degens that missed at 4.2 were upset. Anybody that had their, it would make sense to have your stop losses if you were playing them in these points. And when money is being pulled out of the market, like when we say that DOM has dropped that 345 billion or whatever it is, that's profits leaving the entire market. That's money being taken out going, thank you. That comes from somewhere. And the first place it comes from is alts. Those alts go into Bitcoin or ETH. And then they go into USDT or USDC. And then they're Swift, wire transferred, they're gone. And we always say they're coming, and red days are the cure for FOMO. I've been saying if you've been standing on the sidelines waiting, wait, it's coming. Here you are. Silver platter.
I never thought I'd be so happy to see so much red.
Pardon me.
I never thought I'd be so happy to see so much red.
So right. So for Rune right now, these are some really nice returns. This is kind of our area of focus, is right in here. Now this just turned into a massive clusterfuck. So let's keep it right down to simple now that we've kind of talked through and walked through what we're thinking and what we're seeing. We've zoomed out. Now we're on the 4 hour. I should probably move that to 4 hours so we don't get confused later. And this is where we want to show our strength. If we go down here, we're just getting better entries. I was wondering, I don't think I have a 4 hour yet, do I? Oh, come on.
After you do this, are you going lower? Are you going to like 2 hour?
Watch and see. I'm trying to
Oh, I
be
can't wait.
okay. So these are our main areas of support and resistance in this. I mean, we can move it up a tiny little bit. I mean, like I said, quick and dirty. There you are. And we seem to be sticking right within it. And if it continues to hold it for these next couple of candles, and we have confluence from our indicators, and it looks like an 80s video game right now. And we have confluence from our indicators agreeing that from here to here looks likely. What are we looking at? 25%. One day. Or we may get a better entry. We don't have that belly. Even on the 4 hour. So on our daily, looking like we're going to get that cross. And that it's going to come down. Those drawings that we just erased. It looks like we might get down into here. Or into here. It seems to be holding this support on the 4 hour, which was resistance here, right at that price action. Support in that area there. So if you want to play safe, you can zoom in and you can start to see, okay, yeah, it did. It makes sense we had a lot of pullback. Now it's still going. On this 2 hour, are we seeing curl yet? Nope. We're still seeing spread. But we're still showing support. So in 16 minutes, this next candle is going to determine how these indicators work. Are they going to start to curl? Because if it does, we know we got an entry right here with Bollinger. We know we're showing support and resistance and support in this area. So if it does start to mellow out, this is a good area for entry. But if the total market cap shits the bed, more money comes out, where do you think this is going? This is a prime example of how fast this can happen, of how much, and why we say, hey, yeah, you haven't seen anything yet. If this is your first bull and this is your first few pullbacks and you're in these situations, and why I want to take a little more time today and talk about some of those things. And the importance of having money on the sideline so you can get sales when it does that. And you're making multiple percentages in hours.
And then we can also dollar cost entry if your
If you still
stuff
hold
is dropped down. If you're in something already, it's dropped down a little bit.
you know, there's a quick 15.5% in probably an hour. Beautiful. So I'd still be waiting on Rune for an entry. I have faith that it's turning around. I want to look at these possible spots of it to hold. It makes sense that right now where it at, if it is at, it holds. That would be a good entry. It would make sense if it didn't. Oops. And it went down to somewhere on these levels. That would be a good entry. You want to play uber safe, you could put one down here as well. I don't think you're going to hit it. And I said that last time with our ones for Adam. And all it's doing is just tying up capital for that period of time until you cancel the order if it doesn't hit. But imagine if you had the order in and it hit, and then you're already pulled back up. These are the situations where, yeah, you're happy you did something like that. So patience is key. Watching what the indicators are saying and looking for these layups of where we're trying to have these short-term goals of 20, 40, 50, 80%. And then we look at, is there exhaustion? Are people bored with it for a bit? Is it going to pull back for a while? Is it going to be a slow mover? Because if that exhaustion is there and it's going through that, let's move the capital where to a trading pair where it's not, and maximize that. This will be a really interesting one to watch. Great find. Made me so happy.
It's definitely going to be on my one that I definitely check in with every day or every other day to see what on earth it's doing. Very curious. Curious to see which one of those hit.
And say both of these two hit, now you're in here for an entry. You're split in the middle. And if you make it to our localized target, you're looking at 30%. And that could be in, not too long of time frames. This seems to be moving. I would like to think it's going to kind of just, it's almost like you can cut and paste these things. Like they look very similar. And anytime we have mass movements down, they typically balance out after a while and then they bounce back up. What goes up must come down. What goes down must go up. Physics, all that kind of fun stuff. Love it. This will be a fun one to watch. You can clearly look for areas of support and resistance and see the numbers of limit entry. If you were saying at $1,000, 333, 333, 333, and you would dollar cost your entry here. If they all hit, or at the very least, you would hit one of them. Or, you can put your whole house on the line right now, become a millionaire overnight. Don't do that shit. And that's why you don't, because a day like today, could you imagine?
How are you feeling at this time? 7:48. Are you feeling dive into another one?
I was looking at it. We got it. I want to see if I can get on the hunt. So this is kind of helping too with that.
Sweet.
This is another very old school token, as you may have heard me say before. I mean, this looks like two Psychology of the Markets put back to back, except for that one wick. That looks like a bad day. This is a beautiful example of capitulation, compression, and ready to go. Market cap would determine whether or not it's reasonable to get anywhere to these all-time highs. But it would stand to reason that we would get into some of these zones of consolidation in areas that we've talked about many a times. So just to give a disgusting number, because I know everybody likes that, right now from current price to that localized wick, there's a 1,631. And I can't imagine that.
That's outrageous.
Probably, without doing much research, saying it's not gonna not make it there. I mean, it did make it to there twice. Can it do it 3 times? I'm willing to find out and put a little bit on it. Why not? So
it'll take a little bit of time.
And when you look at it down here, this doesn't look like much, but this little line in here, that's massive money. So let's look for these areas of support and consolidation. So I'm just gonna. I mean, support, resistance, support, resistance, resistance. Does this stay as support? That's what we're looking for with this right now. And we'll chop the difference, we'll say there. And we're clearly on the daily and not on whatever lovely this color is for. We'll zoom on that in a second here. I mean, quick and dirty, the wick went right down to it. We're at this point where we were seeing all that in here on the price action that we were talking about before. So even just in the middle of this box, we can see a lot of support and resistance of what would make sense of where we just were by the look of it a couple of days ago. That's going to be our next tough one to break again. Probably have a little consolidation and then off. What are we at? Here we are. That's a beautiful thing. There's a very bullish, ugly. I was say, like, everybody's been talking about teacups and handle, like there's your cup and handle right there. And then minus the mass liquidation of the all-time high of Bitcoin, makes sense this pulls back. Will it hold this? The $1 million question. Just looking for more areas for if it's going to come down. Where's the more likelihood of its next stop down? Because clearly it will go as far as this. And on its way. The fact, as we were talking earlier, WIT pulling back that much, which if that's 73, Jesus Christ, how much is that? %16%. That's a healthy people buying that up and maintaining this price. Confluence, it's that area that I always hate. It's that pressure. Does this turn so we know our options? Does this turn and come down? And do we get that entry here? Oops. Do we get the entry here and it mellow out and then we take off? Does it come down here and then we take off? Does it come down here and then we take off? And all we're looking at is these areas. This shows me strength. I think this is far-fetched in a bullish market down here. Doesn't mean it doesn't hurt to put an entry down there. Whoa.
That's a big entry area.
How can you miss?
Hmm.
On the 4 hour, we have an entry, but we also have spread. So on the 4 hour, same thing. We want to see that belly. We've got the cross here. So wherever that belly may be, or however long it does, for me to play safe, that's where I typically have my entries. Because this could easily, just like Casper that we talked about for ages, just keep going down. And then you might be looking at an entry here. My gut says right around in here is a good entry. But I want more in my gut. I want a little more confluence. We're getting resistance right now. It's not breaking for up in here on the 4 hour. That's not a good sign. Typically means that's coming back down then. And we might get our entry in here. And that's why we have these 3 lines. And this is on the 4 hour. So right now, am I itching to get into Ren? Nope. Does it have my attention? Absolutely. Can this turn around in a heartbeat with money flow? Absolutely. So there's a 4 hour squiggle and daily squiggles. It'll be really interesting to see how those play out. Critical greed fired, lots of support. I would like to see consolidation, or we are coming down. AGIX, this was called early in February on our show here. Hope you haven't been sleeping.
No, this is the one that Primo brought to our attention today.
Yeah. And if you haven't been sleeping, you got a wonderful 195.94%.
Mwah, chef's kiss.
And if you made it out at the all-time high, which I highly doubt you did, it was a whopping 265. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. This is a tough one right now of same problem of what we were just talking about. We have some nice TA happening here. We seem to be holding this line. We've come up, bounced around. We're here. We need the retest to go off again, or it would make sense that we're finally going to come down, have a little bit of retracement, maybe get in here as an entry, or maybe get in here. So right now, this is what we're looking for, to hold or retest. If this does not happen, these are the scenarios we're looking for. AI is such a power move this run that I'm curious to see if this just spreads and we take off. I'd be shocked if it doesn't. But we never know. They could curl. And if anybody's never really tuned in or known what I'm talking about and they see this screen, I'm sorry. But kind of curious as to how that'll play out. Maybe I'll clean it up in a bit or just leave it. What should I do? What do you think? Leave it, Kate? Destroy it. That was our entry. This is when I used to do TA nice and clean.
It's a squiggle disaster. Although I think that everyone here watching, understands what it means.
What I'm talking about. All right. Well, this is where we leave it. Same thing. If you really, really wanted to play safe, you have your 3 entry points in and around. I would be shocked if they did come down into this range, but this is on the daily. You don't have to make these decisions right away. You can zoom in. We can hide drawings so it not as so bad. And we can start to see, yeah, looking like a little bit of belly of the curve on the 4. This is what we want to see. Lots of support here, lots of strength, all the way back from here over all the way up to here. Tried to make it up. Now it's holding. This to me is nice. Lots of support down in this area from the past. I'd be shocked if we get much lower in AGIX than in here. Good entry for me. AGIX would be, if you didn't get in when we called it earlier, it's a long hold. AI is a narrative. If you got in then and you haven't taken profits, just keep holding. This thing's gonna rocket. Hope you did.
And these red candles are a little bit of a gift, a little bit of
Yeah.
an opportunity to double check and leave your options open, which is nice.
And when I did that move like today, when things are going and you don't know what's going on in the market other than maybe a quick correction or something, don't wait for consolidation, wait for confirmation of events. Don't panic and just keep buying in and catching the falling knives going down. And if it's a quick retracement and rebounds, you've got nothing to worry about. You didn't lose anything. You didn't get another entry, but you didn't lose anything. Sometimes buying in on these because you think it's a great deal and you do it quickly. If it's an alt and it's not an ETH or a Bitcoin, that can be deadly because it could just keep going. And that's why when I saw these pullbacks, and I personally didn't know everything that was happening, other than alt on my most likely, I bought ETH because I knew that was a good safe play. And that's just my 2 cents. Falcon Forge, here was our entry.
Do you want me to keep you on task here just because it's 3 minutes after 8?
Yeah.
Okay.
803, same thing. We had a great entry. It's pulled back. It's looking like we have the curl and it might come into a micro bear and pull back all the way down. These aren't the best entries right now to go long. These are where we're typically looking to exit and find new longs. And that's what we may have with these ones here. And then on the hunt a little bit later tonight. So if you've been in it from down here and you're still in it, there's man, that means I've taught you nothing. You're still in profit, so you're great. Vulcan Forge, long fan, it's going to do well. There may be some more pain ahead for it, though. There we are. I fit it in. I did it. I pulled it off.
Nice work. 22 Targaryen was throwing this out there. I'm curious what you guys meant by leverage in the general chat. And, in regards to the dip happening, I think. And I wasn't sure if you and Supreme were being quippy to each other about joking about leverage.
Good question. So I don't use leverage. I don't short. I tell people where the layups for shorts are. Because leverage is a slippery slope where you can use a little and it's very safe and you can make big returns on little money. But once you start playing with bigger money and you get all these offers and that, it's a very slippery slope of getting in and margins and then being called out. And that is why nowhere in the courses do I ever show how to do leverage or really talk about leverage. And I love that somebody's applying our skills to trading and their first trade was successful for them. But it was on leverage. So that's what I think Cody has pointed out, because Cody always knows my view on leverage is just don't use it.
I think you share it. You share it openly when you're in groups of people.
Yeah. I'm not a big leverage fan. I've seen too many people get hurt by leverage, where I'm about hopefully what you've been learning with the schooling and what I've been showing is smart, Be smart with the money. Be smart with your compounding and stacking your percentages. Playing safe, smart, boring is going to reap you so many more dividends that you're not seeing or understanding yet until you start to do it. We started by saying, get into that 1%, master the 1%. You know, it's also about that 1% of getting out of the 1% mindset of how everybody else thinks. And when you do that, you're already getting trades from us that shows how we've been doing 10s, 20s, 30s, over 200 with AGIX, Beam, Stacks. Like, we've made so many great calls that when you play good tokens and understand the fundamentals with the tools, you don't need to add the gambling aspect on top of that. You can make safer, smarter money. And it's the other part is way less stress. And this game, the more stress that is not on your plate, the better.
Yeah, it's
And
definitely a little more short-sighted, that's for sure.
and I'm not saying you can't play it smart, and there is good ways to use leverage. What I am saying there is, I also know the limits of myself, and I know that I am a good trader. I'm not a great trader. I'm a very good trader. And with those kind of temptations, could put me in hot water that I don't want to have to be in. And I know, and you've seen me pants. I can't make a trading decision because I'm either upset or excited.
Yeah, but anything that makes me go, if this doesn't go through, or if it goes through, it's great. I'm going to be in a great position. If it doesn't go through, I can't buy my kid food. Like, I'm not interested in this kind of range of success or failure. So, where I'm going to stick in the more reasonable levels.
Yeah. Yeah. And I am really excited because we have talked about, a couple of things we'll talk about to end, because I can see some people have stuck around. I said I was in meetings that had real life consequences for our members in our Discord, our community. We having the 5 days of Fidgetals. We did a 5 days of Christmas. We did a bunch of giveaways, Coda Gucci necklace, and a bunch of merch and some other stuff. We have 5 days of Fidgetals coming up, which will include some really cool prizes. One is, I got off the phone with the team today. There's a company called SAN Audio. You should really check it out. SAN Audio. They're going to come on. They're going to talk about it, and I'm going to give away a few of their units. A lot of who's who in the space have been loving their stuff, and they don't blow their own horn, and they're taking a whole cool Web3 approach to the music industry. And apparently I think it's 3 of them that founded the company, and one of them was the co-founder of Beats. So there we are with that.
Can't wait to meet those guys. That's cool.
They're cool. And actually, this is a passion project. They were they're software engineers by trade, and they've done some really cool stuff on that we'll hopefully get into more talks with them as well. It was a great day. This is what I love about this space, is the connections and the pass it goes down. There's some really cool, exciting things coming for our community with some of that.
Very cool collaborations that going on. I love it.
And it is Suprema's birthday today. Happy birthday, Suprema.
Happy birthday, Suprema.
I would like to say, did not do any sheep tracking. I did not panic sell. In fact, I bought fear, which is the exact opposite of what sheep did. And I would like to thank all those today that sold it, because it was a profitable day for this guy. And I'm looking on the hunt. I'm going to have some dinner post-show, and I'm going to have some more slow trades posted, because if you followed those first ones, you did well. So we got some more coming. Miss Crypto Katie, 14 days, 2 weeks, no Chicken Little. You feeling all right?
I've been making good decisions, people, and waiting when I should wait, and hurrying up when I should hurry. So it's going good. I'm really enjoying this hunt, especially with this new recent drop, just seeing it a little bit differently with a drop that we weren't really anticipating. And so I'm pretty stoked.
You've missed nothing. If you're on the sidelines, if you've been waiting for money, if you think, oh, that's it, it's over, you haven't seen anything yet. And I'm going to show you some confluence. I'm going to show you some numbers and some data that backs all this up. If you've been watching our show since day one, we have been calling numbers disgusting, and we'll admit when we're wrong. But until then, let's go. Desi, I agree, man. There is some really exciting stuff. We're gonna have some nice entries. Our next another month is gonna be another crazy profitable month. Thanks for all tuning in. That was fun. And there is some cool shit coming. I can't wait. I really can't. I can't wait to share.
See you later. How will do it again later? Tomorrow,
Ciao.
maybe?
See you again tomorrow.
Later.